In this bonus section, we'll look at a few design details that can add character to any remodel, renovation, or new home. These additions, while not big and often not expensive to implement, make a significant impact on how your space will feel and function. In this not-so-big house, remodeled by architect David Amory, the simple details really add up to a spectacular home. The cooking peninsula is one of the most attention-getting elements in the house, and yet it's a surprisingly simple construction. The countertop is plastic laminate, softened and spruced up on the edges with wood trim. A similar trim approach has been taken with the tile on the backsplash. The real impact comes from the brackets holding up the counter and forming sides of a display shelf. Each bracket is simply a 1-inch thick piece of plywood, but the power is in how thoughtfully that plywood has been shaped and in the repetition of the curves. One of the best ways to express the nature of one material is to place it adjacent to a second contrasting one. And when two or more natural materials are used in conjunction with one another in an unusual way, the house takes on a unique and very personal character. The interspersing of square slate tiles with oak floorboards, for example, provides a wonderful transition between the two materials and heightens our appreciation of the qualities of each. When materials are married together in this way, the personal character of your home takes shape. Many people wish to upgrade their kitchens, changing the look and feel of the stock cabinets that are usually found in most existing and new homes. But the cost of custom cabinetry can take a good chunk out of your remodeling or building budget. One way to keep costs down is to use stock cabinets with custom ends. Here, the stock units were spruced up with 2-inch thick end panels made from maple plywood. The end panels keep you from seeing the toe kick reveal in profile, which never looks right. The money saved on stock cabinets can be put toward other materials. Here, more expensive slate countertops match the simple elegance of the stock cabinets. Another way to save money on kitchen cabinets is to build open shelves, using the configuration of the shelves and supports to create beautiful geometrical designs. People ask me all the time how to make a plate rail like the one I built into my own not-so-big house. It gave me a place to store a collection of beautiful plates. It was functional and added a decorative element to the room. This picture rail is equally straightforward. It's a simple shelf, a piece of plywood extended 4 inches from the wall and faced with trim to create a rail. The homeowner rotates framed artwork and her collection of decorative dishes for an ever-changing display. Another wonderful way to add to your home is to build in other kinds of spaces, ones that are functional as well as aesthetically pleasing. Built-ins can house all kinds of objects, from everyday items to those things used only occasionally. In smaller living spaces, built-in areas actually increase the amount of living space. But no matter what the size of your home, Using unused spaces to enhance the functioning of your living space makes a lot of sense. And by giving each activity and object a defined place in the room, the overall space will have an orderly look and feel. One of my favorite design details is a mail sorting place. The average household receives far more mail today than was typical even a decade ago. But we haven't accommodated this onslaught with a designated area in the house. What I'm observing is a new function with no place to go: a mail sorting place. Such a place works best for most households when it has a good view into the main living area, but isn't right in the middle of everything. It's best to put the mail sorting place next to the kitchen and in direct alignment with the family's pathway into the house, which prevents mail from piling up on the kitchen counter. A well-designed mail sorting place will have these common elements: pigeon slots for individual mail, a separate slot for bills, a place for catalogs, a recycling bin or trash can for waste paper and junk mail, and an optional bulletin board or message board. A stairway that doubles as a library is one of the most pleasing and useful elements you can incorporate into a new house or remodeling. With the addition of just 10 inches on one or both sides of the stairway, the entire space becomes a room full of books. You might think that books would overwhelm a small space, but their visual richness actually creates more of a sense of space and greatly enhances any stairway or stairwell. I've loved window seats ever since I was a child. There's something especially delightful about sitting in a place that's between inside and outside, a place that, while you're there to enjoy it, is your personal territory. It seems that because window seats are not, strictly speaking, a functional necessity, they've fallen out of favor over the past century. But with the current enthusiasm for personalizing one's home, the window seat is experiencing a comeback. But just calling a place a window seat doesn't automatically make it a great place to be. There are a few guidelines that can optimize this favorite spot. First, determine its primary use. Will it be a place to curl up with a good book? A place to look at the view? A place to sit and meditate? A place for kids to play? Different purposes require different dimensions. If it's primarily to be used for seating, you'll need to consider not only the dimensions of the sitting surface, but also some form of back support, a design feature that's frequently overlooked. The most comfortable window seats have gently sloped sides, so it's easy to lean back and feel supported. If the sloped back isn't possible, make sure you have plenty of cushions, so that the environment you create becomes both cozy and inviting. In the series of not-so-big house books, I've tried to show you how to change the way you live by adjusting the physical space you inhabit. Indeed, by simply reconsidering the blueprint for our homes, we can have all the space we need and more, no matter how large our house actually is. Today, most of us also have lives that are as cluttered with unwanted obligations as our attics are cluttered with stuff. The bigger is better idea that triggered the explosion of McMansions has spilled over to give us McLives. In my new book, The Not So Big Life, I have taken the not so big philosophy a giant step further. The intent of the new book is to help you change your everyday experience by adjusting your life's personal blueprint. Just as we can tear down interior walls of our homes to open up space, we can also tear down our fears and assumptions about our lives to open up new possibilities. The result is that we will have all the space and time we need, and more, for the things that really matter and that give our lives both a sense of meaning and inspiration. A not-so-big life, it turns out, is just as possible and just as inspiring as a not-so-big house. And both provide a vision for a more engaging and more sustainable way to find our way